Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena Fantasy Series discussion portal. I'm your host and the founder of the Arena Productions, Expat, and we're going over, of course, House of the Dragon, Episode 5, We Light the Way. We're going to be talking about that, kind of like the Red Wedding, King's Landing style. So we're going to be talking about that, but first I want to let everybody know that there are going to be spoilers. I'm going to be talking about a lot of spoilers throughout this video from episode 5. So if you have not watched House of the Dragon episode 5 yet, please go and watch that and then come back and enjoy this video here. So this is kind of our review, so let's go ahead and get started. So we start off the episode obviously with none other than Daemon. He's in the Vale, and of course he encounters his wife on horseback there, and I have to say this, man. I mean, I don't know what Daemon is thinking, but his wife is really beautiful. I mean, and she seems like a really, self, for example, wanting to go riding by herself and to go hunting and everything. She can do things on her own, and she's a pretty strong-willed woman, and Daemon in the encounter they have a short conversation, and then obviously Daemon startles a horse, and the horse flips over, knocks her over, basically crushes her back, and the horse runs away. She can't do anything, and then of course Daemon starts to walk away, and then she says out to him, you couldn't finish me off. Something to that line, and then of course Daemon picks up a stone, and you know what he's gonna do, because he doesn't want her in his life anymore. He wants to finish her off and be done with her, so I mean just a terrible thing, but that's Daemon. That's the way he is, because he has other ideas in mind, and we're gonna talk about those later in the episode. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Obviously we see the scene with, of course, King Viserys and Rhaenyra on the ship, and King Viserys, he's really looking in bad shape, man. And of course, he starts vomiting, out there, getting seasick and all, heading to, to visit Corlys and them. But before we get more into that, let's go to back to King's Landing, and obviously we get the situation with Otto and Alicent here. And Otto is basically, in the last episode, he was, kicked out, and he's no longer Hand of the King. That is now belongs to Lord Strong. We're going to see him later in the episode. But anyway, I mean, basically, this is kind of like the final warning to Alicent from Otto Prick Hightower, basically telling her exactly what's going to happen. King Viserys is going to die within a few months, or maybe a few years or whatever, but you have to get Aegon ready now. Get him ready, because it's either that, or you're going to have to pray for mercy from Rhaenyra, because Rhaenyra is going to take the sword to the children, because of the secession type of situation. And of course all of Westeros wants a male heir and a king, obviously Alicent wants to believe in Rhaenyra, but this is basically the final straw, and it's like prepare yourself for what's coming. And then he rides off on his horse in the rain. So anyway, we get back to King Viserys and of course Lord Strong going and meeting with Corlys, but he doesn't get a welcome party outside. Obviously Laenor is sword fighting with his partner, as we'll see later in the episode. But I mean, he finally gets in, and Corlys and Rhaenys meet him and all, and then he brings up the marriage proposal. But before that, Corlys mentions what happened in the Vale with Daemon, and that was the probably the best part of the episode for me, at least, when when Viserys hears this news, and when Rhaenys is saying that it was she had crushed in the fall from the horse, she had crushed her neck and her spine and all. And it's like Viserys is kind of like just like looking at Lord Strong, and they're both looking at each other like, it's like they know probably it's more than that. Daemon, probably it was Daemon's hand that might have done that. So, but anyway, so they talk about the marriage proposal, and obviously the about the names, about whether the children should carry the name Valerion or Targaryen. And then, of course, obviously they come up with, in the conclusion, they're like, okay, Viserys is like, when they're born, they can hold the name of the father Valerion, but when whoever takes the Iron Throne, they must be a Targaryen. So anyway, that was interesting. So we go back to King's Landing, and obviously Lariss Strong, who's one of the sons of Lord Strong, who's now Hand of the King. Man, he is kind of like the Whisperer in a sense now, and so I mean he meets Alicent out in the Godswood there, and basically he's talking about, I had heard that she had some. I hope that Rhaenyra is all right. She had to take this tea that was brought by the Grand Maester. I wonder who he found that out from. And obviously, Alicent now knows that Rhaenyra was lying to her about her exploits in the past episode. So yeah, I mean, watch out for that Lariss guy. I mean, probably in the next couple of episodes, he's going to be a snitch again as well. So yeah. So that was pretty interesting there, and it set off Alicent. Obviously, now she's pissed off and all. So let's go ahead and move on. So I want to get to the scene, especially on the boat going back to King's Landing, and we have the conversation between Rhaenyra and Ser Criston Cole. And Criston Cole is basically laying it out like, let's just run away. Let's go to Essos. We can get married, and we can live our lives in freedom and all of that. And then Rhaenyra just basically said, it's like, I'm going to be the queen, and I have a responsibility. I have a duty, basically, is what she's trying to tell him. But she's like trying to say to him, we can still, be good friends, and all, and he's just not having it. And I think that was the breaking point in the sense of what's going to happen later on in the story. Of course, I'm not going to get into that, but all of you who have read the books, you know what's going to happen. And then, of course, with Daemon, we're going to talk about that later in the episode here. So that the image here from the previous episode. So anyway, we get our Rhaenyra and Laenor flying on their dragons. Of course, Syrax looks a lot bigger now because we've had the time jumps, and of course sea smoke. So going back into King's Landing, and it's interesting, right when they get back into King's Landing, you see Alicent looking down upon them as they're coming in, and then of course King Viserys, he passes out and falls down. And obviously he's in terrible shape. Obviously you could see in the episode, I mean, he's got the cancer spreading all over his arm now and everything. It's getting really, really bad. And probably he doesn't have much longer left. And of course this episode, yeah, he was in really, really bad shape. So we go on, and let's get to the wedding part of the episode. And of course, I love the scene where the Lannisters come up again, and just, I mean, like Rhaenyra, I just love her. I mean, Millie Alcock, she's a great actress, I mean, in this series. And I mean, I love how she just like rolled her eyes when he came up there to present himself and everything. And it's just like, just get out of here, it was so funny. I love that scene. And then of course the procession of the Valerians coming in, of course, with Laenor and everything. And obviously earlier in the episode we saw that obviously Laenor is not into women, obviously, and of course his lover basically they had a conversation and all. And of course, the scene earlier where Rhaenyra and Laenor are walking on the beach, and they're saying, okay, well, we can do our duty as, the queen and the king consort and all, but then we can do our own thing as well. So they had kind of come to an agreement to themselves on that. But anyway, they come in, and the procession and the wedding banquet, I guess you could say, kind of starts, and yeah, King Viserys, yeah, he's like, he's losing his train of thought as he's trying to speak there. Of course, his hand, Lord Strong, has to basically, remind him of what he was saying before and all. But then, obviously, the scene with Alicent as she walks in. Of course, she walks in late and makes a scene, and she's wearing green. So obviously now we're seeing the first sign of the greens, and we're going to see that more and more as the series progresses. And the Hightowers were mentioning, what is the color of the lighted banners or whatever it was, when it's time when war is about to start, and it's the color green. So yeah, she's doing this for a reason. So we get on. Obviously, Daemon comes in, and Daemon sits down, and of course, Royce, of course, who's the cousin of his former, his deceased wife that he basically killed, comes up and accuses him of murdering her, basically. But then he's like, Daemon's like, now, I am going to own the runestones now, because I basically inherit that. So, we're going to have another conversation later when I come back there. I mean, that was pretty crazy. So much tension in this episode, especially during those scenes, and then the dance procession that went on, that was really cool, kind of like a traditional dance and all. And then obviously, we had Laenor going up to his his lover, basically, and they were talking, and then the lover goes up to Ser Criston Cole and then makes these sayings about, basically, we need to keep these secrets and everybody will be protected. We keep these secrets and all, about Rhaenyra and about Laenor and everything. And then he kind of walks away, and Ser Criston Cole's really pissed off at this point. And then basically the Red Wedding situation starts up. You have Criston Cole jumping on Laenor's lover, beating the crap out of him. And the thing I loved about this scene, I mean, when Criston Cole just boom, 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 beating the shit out of him. I mean, I had those flashbacks to Jon Snow on top of Ramsay Bolton, and just boom, boom, boom. I mean, Criston Cole, his character, the actor, kind of looks like Kit Harington in a sense, and so just boom, 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 and then obviously he just dismembers his entire face. I mean, it's like his eyes popped out and everything and stuff, and he's dead. It crushed his skull and everything, kind of like with Oberyn Martell and the Mountain in one of the previous seasons of Game of Thrones. I mean, so it was kind of a combination of that. Yeah. And then everybody's all freaking out, and then Laenor comes up and he's crying, at the end there, because he had gotten punched in the face. Of course, Lord Strong, Lord Strong's son, obviously picks up Rhaenyra and gets her out of danger and everything. He is all the heir to Harrenhal, and he's like the strongest, basically like the strongest knight, in the realm at this point in time in history, kind of like the Hound in a sense. Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, you have Criston Cole. He goes out into the courtyard there near the Godswood, and he's gonna do like a samurai style seppuku, to kill himself, for his shame. And then of course, who shows up right there, right before he takes his life? Alicent. And as obviously as the series progresses, you're going to see, and all of you who have read the books, what's going to happen. But I mean, just kind of, that was strange to see, it's like right before he kills himself. Oh, Criston, you know. And then the wedding scene at the very end, it's like right after this attack, they're like, oh, we got to get this done now. We got to make this wedding happen so nothing else happens, and they wed each other, and it was just so weird because Laenor's and he's got blood still on his face from being punched, and then they say their vows and all, and Rhaenyra is almost in tears because, like, earlier Daemon, and her during the dance especially, she was like, take me away, kill the king's guards, take me away to Dragonstone, let's get married, so I mean, you see that, the bond between them, and that there's something between them and what's going to happen later on in the series, obviously, and those of you that have read the books. But I mean, and then King Viserys, I mean, as Daemon is holding his hands on Rhaenyra's face, and almost like getting ready to kiss her. I mean, you see Viserys like, just gazing in. It's like, oh my God, no, but yeah, and then of course the very final scene at the wedding part there, you see the blood from, Laenor's lover, still on the floor there, and then the rat comes up and starts drinking the blood from it. I mean, really, really potent stuff there. But anyway, let us know what you thought of this episode, kind of like, another Red Wedding, King's Landing style, for this for this episode 5 of House of the Dragon, We Light the Way. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the episode. Do you think they should have did some things differently, or how did you, like the episode, or what did you dislike about it? Let us know. We really like to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching our videos and supporting us over here on the Arena Productions. And if you like this episode and the other episodes and all of our other content, if you watch us here, please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new episode of House of the Dragon, as well as all of our other content. So I've been your host, Expat. I am the host and founder of the Arena Productions, and we hope to catch you in the next episode, a review of House of the Dragon. So episode 6, we're really looking forward to it. Of course, now there's going to be the time jump. So Emily Carey and Millie Alcock just did an amazing job. Really looking forward to seeing the time jump and what happens as they go along. So anyway, that's gonna do it. So take care, everyone. We hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out.